big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
Hey Pitmasters, what is up? Today we're gonna do something amazing, something I wanted to do for a while, and it's kind of an experiment. A couple of months ago, I got some steaks and they were aged in butter, and it kind of like amazed me. I had butter-aged steaks before, but these were really good because they were aged in full cream butter, and the flavor that these steaks is, it was always, well, I kind of described it like, you know what it is? It's like a steak dry-aged in butter.
It is.
So I got myself a steak, and this time I did it right. I got a beautiful thick tomahawk. Look at this thing. A bone-in ribeye with the handle on. Now the plan is that I'm going to age this in butter, but this is already been pre-packed and things like that, so I don't want to age it for a longer period of time, but I basically just want to marinate it so it gets some of that beautiful rich buttery flavor. And I was thinking, what if I would add all kinds of beautiful herbs to that? So we're gonna make a good butter with beautiful flavors and then dry age our steak in it. Let's get started with that butter. First I'm gonna pluck some rosemary. Now if you got these light green stalks, then you can chop them in. They're perfectly fine to eat. But if you got like the heavy stalks at the end or the dark leaves, you wanna take that off. They're no good. And of course I also have to have some garlic. Of course I gotta have some chives to go with it. I'm just gonna chop that fine right here from the plant. Some parsley. Now of course I also want to chop fine my rosemary and thyme. We don't want any of the big chunks sitting in our herb butter. Look at that. All those beautiful fresh herbs ready for our butter. Now I'm gonna press fine my garlic. Now I'm gonna take a big tray, put a lot of butter in it and add the herbs to it. Of course I also gotta have some fresh ground peña pepper, a good amount of light sea salt. And now I'm gonna mix this all up. Of course, this works best when your butter is at room temperature. I put the steak in the freezer 30 minutes before I'm actually gonna pack it with butter. So my idea with that is that the steak is really cold, and when the butter touches it, it just sticks to the steak and it almost solidifies. Well, at least that's the plan. Now I got my herb butter here. Oh look, our butter is like really, I can shape it, but it has a solid form. So I'm just gonna put it on and build up a beautiful layer. A whole lot of butter. Ooh. Look at this. This is totally insane. Just checking to make sure I got everything covered and it's completely closed off, and that we can start our aging process. A little bit here. That's absolutely beautiful. And it can go in the fridge like this. And this can go in any fridge, so you can do this at home. That's the whole idea, at least.
Wait, I can do this in my fridge?
Yes, you can do it.
Really?
Yes. Just buy some butter.
Okay, let's do it.
My first plan was to set it like this in my dry aging cabinet, but we should just put it in my fridge, so you know you can do this too. So it's like the real experiment. If I can do this, then you can do it too. Let's go to the fridge. There we go. Into the fridge. And now I'm gonna let it sit for a week. For a whole week, the fridge smelled like herb butter and steak. And even if the butter doesn't do anything to the steak, it was worth it. It's like the ultimate fragrance in your steak. It's like one of those things that you hang on the mirror in the car, like car freshener. That's the word I'm looking for. But then for your fridge. Now I just want to take it out of the jacket so bad. So there we go. I'm gonna carefully start on one side and use my knife to cut away the butter. Now I put a lot of butter on this, so I'm just gonna be careful with it. And there we got it, first opening. Oh, the steak is it's becoming visible. And I can see colors, red, a little brownish. I gotta be careful with my knife not cutting into that steak, just that butter. There we go. I'm just gonna take a big chunk off. Look at that. There's definitely a steak underneath. I'm trying to get some of that butter off the back. Wow, look at this steak. It's insane, and the smell that comes off this steak is fantastic. Now I'm gonna clean up this steak because we got some discoloration right here, and of course I want to see a beautiful red-like steak. So I'm going to cut that top off and I'm going to expose that beautiful meat. Look at this, insane. That's a good looking steak right there. And with all aging, you're gonna have discoloration. So you're gonna need to do this work. Nothing to be scared of. Just get rid of that brown green-like color. And as always with aging, you're gonna follow your nose. If your steak smells good, it means it's still good. If your steak's off, you're always gonna be able to smell that. And if you trim off those outsides, then you're exposing that beautiful meat. Don't worry about the flavor of the butter disappearing. That's gonna be just fine. And the cool thing about aging in butter is that you're capturing all of that butter flavor and hopefully some of the herbs as well. And at the same time, you're not losing any moisture because it's all encapsulated in that butter. Look at how beautiful this thing turned out. Absolutely gorgeous. Of course, we're gonna be grilling this beautiful tomahawk steak on the Napoleon Phantom grill, and I wanna do a reverse sear. So I'm gonna fire up one burner and I'm going to keep the rest of the grill indirect. So a direct zone and an indirect zone. And on that indirect zone, we're gonna slowly let that tomahawk get up to temperature. To make sure that I get the temperature right, I'm gonna put in a meter thermometer. Now the cool thing about this thermometer is that it keeps track of the temperature inside your steak as well as outside your steak. And it will let you know when to take off the steak and let it rest. I'm gonna put this over the indirect heat side with the bone pointed towards the fire. Now the bone will protect the steak from the radiation heat that's coming from that fire, and that's how we're gonna get the perfect slow cook on our tomahawk steak. I just got the notification from the meter thermometer that the steak is cooked. And it means that I cooked it to 52 degrees Celsius at a temperature of a barbecue on 120 degrees Celsius. So it took around an hour and a half to get it there, but now it's there, and look at how beautiful, juicy it is. I gotta let it cool down, otherwise it's gonna overcook when we're searing this thing off. So I'm gonna place it on the board and I'm gonna give it 10 minutes to cool down, and then we'll fire up our sizzle zone. Of course, I didn't throw away that butter because that's just magic stuff. And I didn't put any salt on the steak because we got that butter. So there we go, without further ado, a little bit of butter on our steak, still sizzling and bubbling away. Now that's goodness. This looks like an insane steak and the smell is fantastic. We got that butter, hot molten butter, butter flavor on the steak, and cooked to perfection. That reverse sear technique always works magic. Look how much pink we got, just a little gray area and then a beautiful crust. Absolutely insane. Let's give it a try.
It's so soft. Oh, it's so slippery. Here, man, it's for you. Just had to give it to Eva.
The butter flavor is inside this steak. I'm just gonna take a piece that has no butter for reference. It's like so many things going on with this steak. We aged it in butter, and that makes it perfect. Like, it's like super tender, this beef, and it has rich, creamy, buttery flavors with herb flavors in it.
This steak is unbelievable. I'm gonna dip it in a little bit of salt. What I love about it that it really complements the steak that you dryaged in butter. Like, let's grab a piece that didn't touch the herb butter. If there's any left, I think this still herb butter.
I did it in my fridge. You can do this in your fridge. Like, this is nothing special. This is not, it doesn't require any special technique, any special gear. You got a gas grill, you got a charcoal grill, use whatever you like. Just take a steak that's big enough so you can trim some sides off. Just don't take like one of these thin steaks, because then you're going to be trimming off too much and you're not going to be left with anything. But like a big chunk of meat like this, or maybe just a chuck steak, that will work perfect.
You can do this at home with herb butter, normal butter, sea salt butter. Can you do it with sea salt butter? Of course, as long as there's butter. So if you want to do this, go to our website. There's a link down below. You can make this. I want to see the results. Just tag us. Tag PitmasterX on Instagram. I want to see results and we're gonna repost it. So what's the moral of this story?
You gotta age.
You gotta age.
Age is good.
You gotta be old.
Yeah, make things old.
I love it.
It's super soft, super tender.
But like everybody can do this at home.
Get a nice thick steak, make it more valuable.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. And Eva, you want more? One more piece? There we go. Good girl. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then leave us a big thumbs up and a comment down below. Hope to see you guys next time. Until then,
Eet smakelijk.
and keep on grilling. Did I say big thanks to the patrons and the YouTube members?
Well, you did now.
And check out the website, eh?
Check out the website for this recipe.
Pitmasterx.com. Learn how to do this.